Hello, everybody. My name is Nicholas, also known as Tactical Wrench, and this is the first log of my Hunter cosplay project. In this video, I'm going to take you through a little bit about how I envision this costume working, how I envision its construction working, and a few different iterations I have for engineering a costume like this. So this is a Blender file that I've made. We have a few different versions of the Hunter. Although this file is not actual size, all of these models are in scale with a 6-foot humanoid, which is my height. So this figure represents me. Um, and I use this file to essentially just figure out how I could foreseeably fit inside and operate a hunter-shaped costume. So this hunter here is a hunter as it is in game. It is 8 feet tall, which according to a PC Gamer interview for Half-Life 2 Episode 2 is the actual height of hunters. Um, I've also apologize, I'm very new to Blender, I'm not the best at this. I also have a 7-foot version, which will be a little bit easier to operate and maneuver, and then a smaller 6-foot version. And I'll show you in a second what I'm doing with those. So I have two main ideas for how I could fit into this costume. The first way is the Spirit Walker style, and the second way is the marionette style. Now, Spirit Walker, if you are unaware, is a guy who I believe started very early on YouTube and now is more active on TikTok, who made a stilt costume that allows him to ambulate on all fours. Essentially, it's very creepy, very cool looking, but he can also be very expressive in it. And this is my concept for how I could apply that sort of technique to a hunter costume. Now, because hunters have these really strange looking digitigrade, almost insect-like legs, it will be a little bit tricky. But if crutches or stilts are worked into these lower legs, I can foreseeably operate them with my upper arms, or my lower arms, I guess. Now, this is how it would look if I were to build a full-fledged 8-foot tall costume. And I think this would be cool, but I don't know how practical or feasible this would be. The good thing about the 8-foot tall costume that I found from this experiment is that I will fit into it almost perfectly. If I highlight the body model I have in here, my head actually will perfectly line up to where this top eye socket is. And foreseeably, then I could have some kind of a puppet mechanism in here to both control the lower eye and maybe even the mandibles. Now, I have done a version of this for both the 6-foot and the 7-foot models, and well, the 6-foot one, there's an obvious problem here. I think I could mess with this a little more so that I could fit with it, but I'm not really sure where my head's going to be in it. There's another idea I have that where this 6-foot one might work a little better, but I'll get to that a little bit later. But I could still feasibly move around, move the front legs and move the back legs very easily. To clarify about the back legs, since hunters do have 3 legs instead of 4, there are going to be 2 stilts for my ease of motion, but one of them will be connected back here, so it will move the back leg, whereas the other one is just a support for myself. We'll be a little bit have to be a little bit cautious to prevent this from hitting the back leg, but I think if they're staggered like this, I think it might be able to work. The 7-foot model works a little bit better, but I'm still having a bit of that issue of not quite knowing where the head is going to be. It is very near the upper eyeball, but it doesn't quite fit in there as snugly. So this is the marionette style. So what I'm referring to marionette is essentially a costume that I don't inhabit as much as much as I operate it. In this version, all 3 of the legs would somehow be rigged up to my feet, and then I would operate the mandibles and the lower parts of the hunter with my arms. Now, I thought this might be a good way to do, say, a smaller costume. The only thing is I don't really like the look of this as much. I'm gonna obviously have to move stuff around with the mandibles because they won't be able to work there on the actual costume. Um, But the plus side is that I might be able to be more expressive with the costume if I can control the mouth parts with my arms than if I'm doing it with some kind of an elaborate mechanism rigged to my head. That said, I am more interested in these. I think even with the less expressive facial features, I can move around the limbs easily enough that I can be more expressive with the costume. And I actually do think having my arms with it, I can move a little bit faster and I can have a little bit more range of movement in the costume, whereas I'll pretty much have to stand still if I do it in the marionette version. So that's essentially the basics of how the costume is going to work. I'm thinking I will do the 7-foot one because even with the slight issues with the sizing and stuff around this one, I'm not as muscular as this figure is, so I think my arm should have room to fit over these bizarre tubes that run along the hunter's belly. But I am open to doing the 8-foot one, so I'm posting this on a design forum, or I'm linking this on a design forum, so I'm interested in hearing what you will think if you'll have anything to say. But anyway, that is the basics of my costume. Um, I want to talk to you a little bit about how I'm constructing it. So this is a program called Rhino. This is a CAD software that's more popular for architectural usages, but I find that it's very good at splitting apart meshes if I want to send it to Pepakura or another program that I can use to make EVA foam templates. And this is an exploded hunter that I've made using the same FBX file that's in the Blender program. So I've just taken it apart to see essentially like how the different components will look, and I'll take you through them a little bit. So my upper body is going to be mostly in this area, this top half here. I'll probably remove these because I won't be able to fit if this part is there. I will have to sacrifice some detail on this, unfortunately, but some sacrifices have to be made for this costume to be plausible at all. My arms will poke through below these, I guess these chitinous masses on the hunter's sides. And then I will be able to grab crutches or stilts to operate the front legs. So this is just the upper half of a crutch. This is roughly the design style of crutch I'm going to use. I'm actually going to have to replace this whole section with a bent steel tube, I think. My college has a machine for bending steel tubes with, and I'm thinking that using that I can make something that matches the curve of this front leg as well as the back leg. You can see over here, this is roughly how this will fit inside. I haven't worked out all of the mechanics of this, but I believe that I will have the metal tube running through here. I will likely reattach the feet of the crutches at the bottom, the very bottom of the tube. And then all of this and this will be EVA foam that is built around it. And I'll probably have to anchor it in place somehow. The arms are going to be interesting. In true Source engine fashion, these are going to be ragdolls. These will essentially be giant stuffed cushions that connect to each other, so they sort of they'll move with my arms. I think that there will need to be some kind of a structural element running through these so that they can't wobble around too much. But essentially, by having them just be static but be flexible, I can move the lower legs around freely. It will look like this is what's moving the leg, even though it's actually my arm. So I'm going to be I'm going to be building this whole section out of EVA foam. And then I'm going to be mounting some kind of a structural point up here that will support the legs. But then this entire assembly, as well as the legs, will be covered in a fabric of some kind. I don't know specifically what I'm going to use yet. It will be flexible, and I might go for something maybe a little less realistic, more artistic, and use something cotton or that will just like sort of emphasize the wrinkly skin that hunters have, and that will pretty much cover everything and even be underneath the limbs. All of this all of these blue panels, well, they're not blue here, but in the game, they appear to be made out of sort of this chitin-like armor. So I'm going to make these out of EVA foam separately and then put them around the soft part. So this part is going to be covered in the skin, and then this will be a separate piece that will go over it. As for how I'm going to do the chitin texture exactly, I don't know yet. I considered wrapping it in latex. I don't know how easy that would be to do. I admit that I am not the best at painting EVA foam, so I would like to perhaps cover it so it looks more seamless. Um, but that's where I stand there. Now, finally, the eyes and the mandibles. So, if you look on the Blender file, um, going off of this concept, you will see there's a fair bit of space in this lower portion of the head. So I'm thinking that there I can put some kind of a mechanism that can control the lower eye and can control the mandibles. I haven't figured out exactly how they're going to work yet, but I think it will be some kind of a system that will be controlled by my head motion. So, say when this eye moves, it will be connected to something that will also move this eye, and maybe this eye will have strings on it that can control these or the antennae. So thank you for watching, and I hope to get back to you soon with another update.